Are you someone who finds it very difficult to sit and focus on your studies for long hours? Are you someone, my dear friend, who finds it difficult to keep yourself away from distractions while you're sitting and studying? Are you someone who often looks into the phone and see what is happening there or what notifications you get, and many times because of which you end up procrastinating things? Are you someone in first place who feel very sleepy when you're actually sitting and studying for long hours? If you are experiencing any of these problems, my dear friends, okay, in whatever work you do, if you're an IAS aspirant, so the most important work that you right now have at your hand is to prepare for the exam. You can be anything else, and if you find it difficult to focus on your work, or you get affected by too many distractions, or you procrastinate, or you're lazy if you feel so, then this video that you're going to experience right now, my dear friends, is going to provide to you some useful insights into why it happens like that, and also gives you solutions to address the same, my dear friends. Vinay Kumar here, international NLP and IAS coach. In this video, my dear friends, like I just shared with you, with my 15 to 16 years of experience of teaching, coaching, mentoring IAS aspirants, and also working as a soft skill trainer, and someone who is a committed, passionate student of psychology. With all my research, I have come into terms with some findings which I feel can be very useful to people who experience problems like the ones that I mentioned just now, my dear friends. Okay, so here we go. Before I begin my discourse on why people experience what they experience as problems when it comes to achieving their goals or being focused on their path towards successful outcomes and all that, my dear friends, let me quickly give you an understanding of the mind, human mind, my dear friends. Even though human mind is the essence, and it's actually the brain with all its organelles that does the job, mind is more connecting to most of us. So let me explain to you things in the language of mind than of the brain, my dear friends. Okay, but in one of my subsequent videos, I would also like to explain to you parts of the brain and what each part of the brain is responsible to, how each part of the brain works, and what function they are engaged with. I'm going to be dealing with that, my dear friends. Okay, but for now, let me explain to you how the human mind works. Okay, as you all very well know, my dear friends, going by the conventional psychology championed by Sigmund Freud that we know, we have what we call as the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. Can you see the iceberg here, my dear friends? This iceberg is a metaphor, is a representation of how the human mind actually is. Okay, you have a small part of the iceberg, which comes into our awareness, human agency, above the surface of the water. Then you have part of mind which is just below the surface, and then you have a bigger chunk much below. Correct? This is exactly how conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind work. Now, conscious mind is where all those thoughts, perceptions, conversations, or anything that is coming into your awareness is happening, my dear friends. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? Now, as I interact with you, if I'm aware of what I'm interacting with you, then I'm operating from my conscious mind. If you are aware of what you're listening to, and you're able to process that information, then that's your conscious mind, my dear friends. All right. So there are times when we also sit back and think consciously. There are times when our perceptions are driven by, our consciousness. Okay. Now, so conscious mind is a place where you know what is happening. You are getting aware of what is happening, my dear friends. As the term subconscious, as the term sub in the subconscious points us to, it's the part of that mind just below the conscious mind, okay, which stores some of the memory that we often need to function in the life. Do you get that, my dear friends? What I'm trying to tell you is as simple as this. So there is something called automatic memory and there is something called controlled memory, both of which are in the subconscious. Now what is happening? Controlled memory is what you took inside with some effort, and there were, you did what you had to do to store it in a particular way, and you have a pathway by which you retrieve that information. Do you understand that, my dear friends? So controlled memory is the best example I can give to you for controlled memory is how you learned the multiplication tables when you were young. Yeah, you 2 sevens are 14, 6 sevens are 42. Got that? No, I'm trying to tell you. See, it's controlled, my dear friends. Yeah, I've stored it in a particular way and I'm retrieving it in a particular way. Then this is in the subconscious, which means what? It need not be always there in your conscious, in your conscious space, but it's there just below the conscious, and whenever you need it, it's there for you. Is that clear? Perfect. Controlled memory. Now, automatic memory is something that you again have in the memory and you use it very often to function in life, but there is no such organized pathway that you have created to store or to retrieve it. It just happens like the way your driving happens, my dear friends. You no longer have to take that pathway or how to use your spoon and a fork. Okay? It's all in the automatic memory. Is that clear, my dear friends? So, you know now what is controlled memory and what is automatic memory. Both of them are in the subconscious. Clear? And this is from where you get a lot of information for you to function normally in your life. And then comes the world of mysteries and something that is highly, highly unexplored and something that runs your life to a considerably great extent compared to what your subconscious or the conscious would do. In comparison to subconscious or conscious mind, it is this unconscious mind, my dear friends. The world that largely remains unexplored, the world that is raw, the world that is, which is full of surprises and mysteries, I'll tell you, is where most of your life force is flowing from, my dear friends. And this is why we experience what we experience as life. You know what? None of us would consciously want ourselves to sit and sleep in a library. That's not why we would go there. To a study center or a library, when we go to prepare, we're not going there to actually put our head on the desk and sleep for a good amount of day. We want to sit and study energetically, enthusiastically, acquiring a lot of information, storing it and making use of it. But that's not what we are doing. Yeah, as soon as we go and sit there, we have a whole lot of distractions around. Yeah, and we lay down for a while. And there is this friend of us coming and asking us to accompany him for a chai so that you can have chai pe charcha. Are you understanding, my dear friends? So, doing all these things, you just don't know how the time flies and next attempt comes. This is how a lot of IAS aspirants are able, before anything actually informs them as to why they are doing what they are doing. They are there in their fourth attempt, fifth attempt, and not much success, my dear friends. Now, what is very, very important is, my dear friends, how the unconscious actually works. If it is running a good part of your life, I don't want to take numbers like 99.9% of your life is unconscious. I don't want to say that, my dear friends. I don't know how much percentage of your life is run by your unconscious, frankly speaking. But I know from my own life experience and from a lot of research that I've done that a very significant part of your life is dictated from your unconscious mind. It's just happening from your unconscious mind, my dear friend. This is something that I'm very clear about. Okay? Having said that, now how one thing that is to be discovered by us before we go any further is how does this unconscious get created? Something that is at the heart of most of what is happening in life. From the time you develop consciousness, you've been taking in a lot of information. In fact, what you don't know is, my dear friends, a lot of things that is getting into your mind is even bypassing your consciousness. Now, let me give you an example to make you understand what I'm trying to tell you. As I share this information with you, information is entering into you at the rate of around 40 to 45,000 neural impulses per second, my dear friends. Okay? As I am interacting with you, it is, the information is entering into you at 40 to 45,000 neural impulses per second. And do you know how much of it, with an ordinary level of consciousness, you can come into terms with? I think at max around 5,000 neural impulses per second, my dear friends. 35,000 plus is bypassing your consciousness and it's entering into you. You want some time to relax and understand what I'm trying to tell you? Can I simplify it for you? What I'm trying to tell you is, my dear friends, the whole lot of information that is being given to you, my dear friends, only a small part of it, which is probably coming as speech, is what is going in consciously. There is so much more that is being, that is being transferred from me, okay, even from my unconscious mind, which you don't even know is entering into your system. Now think of it. From a kid, from your first day, things start to enter your mind. You know why I say from the first day of your life, or even when you're in your mother's womb, a lot of things start to enter because, a lot of information can enter mind, bypassing the consciousness, bypassing your conscious mind. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? Now, as and when this is going and getting settled, when all this information that is going into you from the day one of your life to now, it's all becoming your memory in the unconscious. And this is not the same as the automatic memory or the control memory of the subconscious, which is just below the conscious and which is very necessary for us to function in the life and which we draw upon for utility. It's not the same. I'm talking about the unconscious memory, which is the programs written by almost every life experience, everyone in your life, everything in your life, every event of your life, the geographies that you were part of, the histories that you were part of, the economics that you were part of, my dear friends, the societies that you were part of, every single damn thing there has added one or the other thing to your unconscious. And you know what? That's from where life is happening, my dear friends, most of the time, unless until you're consciously living it. Unless until you're aware every single second of the thought that you are experiencing, or the feeling that you're experiencing, or the perception or the belief or whatever, my dear friends. Okay? It's from the unconscious. Now, the conscious human being who is entering the study center enters with an intention of sitting there and studying for 8 hours a day without any disturbances, with a lot of goals and all that. But then there is this unconscious, from where a lot of things are, after all, your life functions on your memory. It's because of your memory that you can make sense of the world around you. You know that, hey, this is a tennis ball because of your memory. You know that, hey, look, this is a door, this is a chair, this is a book, because of your memory. And most of this memory, my dear friends, has got created in you. Most of this memory has got stacked up in you, assimilated in you, accumulated in you, even without your consciousness. And that's where the whole problem is. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friend? That's where the whole problem is. So many times, even when you want to consciously do things, you're not able to do it. Something is stopping you from within. And you know who did it? We can't say. But what the research says is, there are these people with whom, from young age, you have constantly interacted with. You've constantly got abilities to, you've constantly got the ways to react or respond to things. They have a very significant influence on who you are, how you think, how you perceive, what you feel, and all that. So, according to research, my dear friends, a very significant contribution to your unconscious mind is from your parents. If they are the ones with whom you have spent good time of your life, if you were put to a hostel at a very young age and you actually ended up spending most of your time with your your hostel warden or some teachers, that's a different story altogether. But most of the time, generally you spend with your parents, and they have a lot that has been that has become a part of your unconscious mind, my dear friends. A lot. I think each one of us would have been a victim of our mother's frustration of something else at least once in life. Yeah. Our mother would have got upset with someone or something, and she's not happy about it, but she can't she can't show her emotions there. She can't put out the emotions on that thing that is upsetting her, and she ventilates that frustration on you. Okay? Now, nowhere does it go. It's there in your unconscious. And you know what? You'll be surprised. It's also guiding your life. It's also guiding the level at which you trust people. It's also guiding the level at which you interact with people. You pass on your own frustrations. Yeah, there are people I have observed, my dear friends, who get irritated at very small things. You know why? People in their life who have built their unconscious mind have built them in such a way that whatever they spoke, whenever they wanted to express something, whenever they wanted to share something, they have continuously reacted to it in the form of irritation. And when you have more and more people in your life who get irritated or annoyed by by your expressions or whatever you want to share, my dear friends, you become someone who gets irritated at smallest of things. If you what I want you to know is, my dear friends, see, these are something that I have realized out of my intuitive experiences. I really want you to sit back and think for yourself. You don't have to take these things at outset. These are not any, I'm not saying I've pursued a PhD to prove all these things, my dear friends. Maybe I'll do so in the times to come, my dear friends. But then, I really want you to consider this. I really want you to sit back and think whether this is applicable to you. See, from young age, everyone in your life has been giving one or the other thing to you, and all that is going nowhere, but it's there in your unconscious. And whoever you are today you're a product of all those experiences which has got converted into memories, and from those memories is flowing your life. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? You get irritated, you get angered, you experience fear, you experience hatred, you experience love, you experience compassion, and all these things based on how your unconscious has got created over a good period of time in your life. Is that clear, my dear friends? Now, one of the ways in which you unpack your please do understand, it's very, very important for you to unpack your unconscious. And as you unpack and excavate, you need to get to know for yourself why you behave the way you behave, why your attitude is what it is, why you cannot do things very efficiently or effectively, where things need to change. It's very important for you to get deep into your unconscious and understand yourself, my dear friends, so that things become very, very easy and effortless for you as you start to live life. Because anytime something that is working against you from within, my dear friends, by your conscious awareness, hey, this is what it is and this is how I need to focus. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? Quickly, let me give you 5 solutions, my dear friends, to continuously unpack your unconscious and grow more conscious in your life, so that you can be at your effective best in whatever you're doing in your life. Here we go. Number 1, expand your awareness. Consciously expand your awareness, my dear friends. Come into terms with what you're thinking, what your perception is, what are your beliefs, what are your values. If you're taking some actions, why do you take it in a particular way? If you're not taking some actions, why don't you take? Continuously expand your awareness, my dear friends. In fact, many times your awareness gets expanded when you work with people who can, see through you, see through your unconscious as you share things with them, and can give you a feedback on what needs to change, my dear friends. And there are a lot of people like that in the world today. There is a very huge coaching, available. Very, very big number of coaches, psychologists available for you to be able to do that, my dear friends. Seek help. Don't hesitate. It's not a sin, it's not a crime to consult an expert for your mental and emotional health. It's important, my dear friends, because unless until that gets settled, let me tell you, nothing is going to change in life. There is a saying in English, nothing changes if nothing changes. So first, look into what needs to be resolved, and once you have resolved it, just see how life would be, my dear friends. It will be really good, my dear friends. 2, the second thing that I would like to make a mention of in the 5 solutions that I would like to give to you is having expanded your awareness, my dear friends, the second thing is to live with personal integrity. Yeah. Now, this is why this is very, very important. I'll tell you, my dear friends. See, you are receiving a lot of information from outside, which is becoming a part of your unconscious memory, and from there, the life is flowing. I just made a mention of it now. But do you know something? Out of the memory that is already there, you're creating thoughts consciously, which also has to again enter the unconscious. Now, whenever you do things that is out of alignment with your highest values, whenever you do things that is not in alignment, not in congruence with universally accepted principles, my dear friends, you know what happens? You are giving signals to your unconscious about who you are and creating a self-image of yourself. That's why, if you have observed, my dear friends, there are a lot of people who would like to perform at an alpha level, but almost end up with a very low or a substandard performance because their unconscious just doesn't allow them to be at their best, my dear friends. It just stops. Their ego somehow, pushes them to do this thing or that thing, my dear friends, but it's not sustainable again. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? So it's so very important to consciously develop personal integrity, consciously ask ourselves questions like, hey, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing things that are aligned with truth, honesty? Some of you might be wondering, my dear friend, hey, what is this in this age of 21st century? Not 21st century. Till the humanity exists, my dear friends, I think personal integrity is going to be the real game winner. People who are going to live with highest level of integrity are always going to be much, much above the, normal crowd, my dear. Average crowd. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? Third, your environment. Now, there is this coach, one of my coaches who always makes this statement. Your environment is more powerful than your willpower, and it's a fact, my dear friends. You may want to do right things. You may want to do just the good things. You may only want to have right thoughts. Yeah, and you only want only such things to go to the unconscious and experience a lot of gratitude, joy, love, peace, and all that. But then it's important to wisely choose your environment. If you don't choose the right environment, my dear friends, okay, where there is no gratitude, no peace, no love, no joy, now what is going to happen? I'll tell you something very, something that's going to shock you about how the unconscious mind works, my dear friends. Most of you must have heard of this term called vibes. You keep saying, hey, I didn't get good vibes from him. Wow, the vibes that he radiates is so good. You keep often you keep mentioning about it. Correct, my dear friends? This is called reverberations. Where you're transferring energy to someone, where without your body language changes or your gestures or your verbal communication, person is getting to understand something about you. So your unconscious, my dear friends, when you're waiting for your turn to consult the doctor, sitting in a hospital waiting room, somebody sitting by your side, your unconscious can approximately measure his body temperature, the blood pressure, and all that. And all this bypassing your consciousness, my dear friends. Think of what unconscious can do, my dear friends. Think of all that is happening unconsciously. How all information is getting into you. Yeah, it can measure the gravity around you. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? And this, it's a backdoor entry. Your consciousness doesn't even know it. And all that information is going and getting stacked up, only to come back as life, as you. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear? So what environment you're part of is very, very important. All of you would have experienced this. Whenever you are in a cheerful environment, whenever you are in an environment of gratitude, peace, love, compassion, joy, and all that, my dear friends, you experience all of it in yourself, correct? And see, it so happens that some of us, even in the best of environments, if we are not healing our unconscious, my dear friends, yeah, we may add to dilution of all the good things that the environment can hold up to, my dear friends. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? And that brings me to the fourth point, my dear friends, which is yoga. Now, what happens? Why I explicitly make mention of yoga is with the smooth body movements that you do in the yogic exercises and the slow breathing, slow breathing that you consciously do, my dear friends, you're going to expand your awareness, expand your consciousness so much that you become that responsible individual. You know what is responsibility, right? Stephen R. Covey, in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, while explaining responsibility, he says it's your ability to respond to the stimuli. Those of you who continuously practice yoga will know this. Your ability to respond is much higher than people who are just living from their unconscious mind, or who are living mostly from their unconscious mind. Which means what? Whenever you practice yoga, you start to live more consciously. There is greater level of awareness that seeps into everything that you do in life. I don't want to explain more. Go and see for yourself. Practice yoga for just 8 days and see how you are able to slow down your thoughts and look at things more clearly and with less clutter and all that, my dear friends. In fact, one of the best ways of getting to see yourself for who you are in the unconscious can be very well done with the regular practice of yoga, my dear friends. Is that clear? And fifth one, and the last one that I want to mention as a solution in our discourse right now is self-love, my dear friends. You know what? Most people don't love themselves. Seriously. And they don't love themselves because they know who they are in their unconscious. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? And they know who they are by, number one, opinions of themselves. 2, opinions of others. There is a lot of self-resistance that has engulfed the humankind today, my dear friends. A lot of self-resistance. In fact, almost all of your anger, your fear, your hatred, your undesirable emotions are coming from that place. The place where you don't love yourself. The hatred that you experience on someone or the anger that you experience on someone is actually not hatred on that person or anger on that person. It's against yourself. Your inability to manage your emotions, your inability to control yourself. You know, it's actually you fighting yourself in the unconscious as to why you are on who you are. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear? It's high time, my dear friends, that you start to unpack your unconscious. See where all this guilt, fear, depression, dejections are all coming from. And as you bring all of it to your awareness, it's important that you heal yourself. And when you heal yourself and release all these, undesirable emotions, undesirable memories from your unconscious, there is a way. And that's what I'm talking about, my dear friends, as a process of self-love. So, self-love is not a noun, my dear friends. It's a verb. It's a process by which you clear your unconscious of all those childhood to adult to whoever you are right now experiences and memories that have got stacked up, and instead of running your life, ruining your life. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? Now, all those programs needs to be looked into, their usefulness, looked into for how much they are giving you your share of inner fulfillment. Now, look at it, my dear friends. Achievement is important. As important is inner peace, inner joy, inner fulfillment, without which, of what use is all your achievement? After all, at the end of the day, you just don't want the world to call you as successful. Someone inside has to say, wow, I love to see you successful and I'm so happy with it. Yes or no, my dear friends? Think of it, my dear friends. If we can expand our consciousness, expand our awareness continuously, every single day, becoming a better version of ourselves, and that better version of ourselves goes on to become the IAS for this country. What country can become? And what country can do to the world? Thank you very much, my dear friends, for learning from me. Something that's very useful for your life. I hope so. Thank you very much. See you all in my next video, my dear friends.